Lisa,
Yes, baby girl.
when I grow up, I want to be a menace to society.
Then so shall you be. Hey, this is Lisa Landry. Welcome to Womenace to Society. I am at the Scottsdale Fashion Mall, which is a kind of a random place to run into my friends who are here today. On the show is Nitro from B.A.C.A and her friend and another
Diver.
Brother. I was wondering, like, what's my terminology here? Diver, also from B.A.C.A. And I know your organization is doing so much good, directly impacting some of our most vulnerable people on the planet, children. And I was hoping that you could tell people a little bit about what you do.
Oh man, do I love doing ads. Well, we're based in Arizona. I'm with the Maricopa County chapter, and Divers with our Black Canyon chapter on the west side. We are a 501c3 nonprofit international organization, which I'm very, very proud of. We're in 13 countries right now with 22 in forming effort.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
How did you get so big?
Just people listening.
Yeah.
Getting out there, doing the footwork, the awareness, like what we're doing today here at the mall, getting people to come up and talk to us about it.
You're not here to pick up a new dress from Ann Taylor?
That's later. That's later. I see a couple of shops.
Well, tell what are you doing here today, actually?
Right now, we want to do mostly awareness. Even though we've been around for 22 years, now we're going into our 22nd year, there's still a lot of people that don't know about us. Because we're not out there like waving our hand, going, hey, check us out, you know what I mean? But we want people to come up and approach us. There's a lot of people that also have heard about us, but have no way they don't know how to get in touch with us. So we try to get out into the public so that people can, come up and talk to us. We've had many of them come up there and go, oh my God, I've been looking for you guys, and we end up getting cases that way.
That's great.
So getting out there doing the awareness. My brothers and sisters in this organization, we do a lot of work, because we're also down at the Chandler Mall today.
Today as well?
Today and tomorrow.
Well, it's kind of air conditioned, so that's kind of, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to get off your bike in the heat.
That's it. This time of year, we don't do too many things outside. It's just too hot.
So tell me a little bit about your cases, not specific cases.
Like what kind of cases?
Yeah,
that we
like
get
what kind of stuff
like
you're
that.
doing.
Right now, when I first started, we were just doing the physical and sexual abuse. But Chief was the founder of B.A.C.A, started doing some child play therapy, and realized that there's psychological, mental, and emotional abuse that's out there that is not always that recognizable. And the work that they've been doing and the teaching that he's been doing and all the therapists, now we do those 5 things. So if someone has a child in that situation, they would call one of our helplines, and our child liaison, whether it's in Black Canyon or any of the chapters, the child liaison will call back within 4 hours.
Wow.
And
that's a
get
really
some
quick
information on the
turnaround.
case.
Yeah.
They have to have information on the case, and it has to be a legitimate case.
And these are kids who are abused?
These are kids who are abused in one way or another. They've either witnessed it or they were physically, involved. Witnessing, again, that's your psychologically, mental, and your emotional
sure.
abuse.
PTSD right there.
Absolutely,
Fear,
absolutely.
triggers. Yeah.
It does, and the fear of, like, if their mom was abused, and, they feel inadequate because maybe I should have protected my mom. Maybe I should have protected my little brother or sister.
Right.
We get a lot of those, and it's really sad to see. But I think the best part is when we empower them to stand tall and they put a smile on their face.
Well, how do you do that exactly? Do you take them out on a ride, or?
No, we show up.
Okay.
We show up. One of the things that these children don't get a lot of is people that when they promise stuff, they don't follow through with the promise.
Right.
And we promise to be there. We promise to show up. And if there is a court case, let me backtrack a little bit. Once the child liaison has found that it's a legitimate case, which means it either has to be a police report, it has to be a hospital report, or a therapist says this child's is been abused or has been abused. So once we have the paperwork on that, because we can't go by hearsay, because then we get a lot of those calls.
Do you really?
Oh, God, do
That's
we get a lot.
messed up.
Yeah, I'm going through a divorce. My husband's being a jerk. Can you come beat him up? No.
Not cool.
No,
Not
don't
cool.
do that. And they've used their kids. You know, my kid's trying to hurt themselves. My kid's trying to hang themselves because of the abuse. And come to find out, mom was just trying to make dad look bad.
Not a good move.
No, don't use your kids.
Don't do that.
Use your kids. So, you know, we have to make sure it's a legitimate case.
Right.
Then once the child liaison gets all the paperwork, he brings it to the board, whatever prospective board in the chapter, and then the board makes a decision on whether we take it. Not all cases we take. Even though the child's been abused, is the child living in fear?
Right.
You know, is that the person that abused them gone, moved away, in jail already? There's no court. There's no reason to be afraid. Do we need to do that? It's a lot of times it's the parents that want us in. The child's like, what do I need them for? You know what I mean? And that's okay, because it's about what that kid needs. You know? And then, you know, once the board decides we're going to take this case, then we do what we call a level 1. Level 1 is when we all go in. And those are the ones that go in are your patch members and cleared supporters.
Okay.
You have to be cleared.
What does that mean?
That means every one of our people that come in go through an NCIC background check. Some people say, well, I work for DES, or I work for CPS, or I work for the, you know,
post office,
or whatever, the post office, and I've already got my fingerprints. You don't have B.A.C.As. A lot of businesses only go back, or companies only go back. They might do 7 years, they might do 10 years, they might do a 5 or 7 state radius check.
Right.
We do a complete check.
That's thorough.
We want to make sure you're not coming from another state that
and
you
you're
got
wanted,
caught in, and you're wanted, and you're still trying to. And trust me, we get a lot of people that think that they can infiltrate our system and get to kids.
Isn't that awful? I thought that was just teachers and priests who get relocated and nobody pops it.
Sad. It's very sad.
B.A.C.A's on that.
That's it.
You will not be moved to another parish.
No. And we also teach the kids, as well as whoever the caretaker is, if it's in a foster home, group home, or they're with a family member, that you do not answer the door if one B.A.C.A person shows up. Don't care if they're patched.
Excellent.
Don't care if it's the international president. We have a 2-patch rule.
Yeah.
And that's just in case somebody does come in, gets a patched, and they're a pedophile who hasn't been caught yet.
Y'all are having a better system than the police. You know, you've thoroughly thought this through.
We actually work very well with our local and state officials, because there's things that our police officers can do that we can't do.
Oh, yeah.
And there's things that we do that they can't do. And one of them basically is, you know, our level 2, and we can, you know, get into that in a little bit. But the level 1, what we do with the level 1 is we go in force. The kids are like, their mouth is, I know you can't see this, but my jaw is dropping. But they're seeing all the bikes pulling up, like, they're
like,
here
it's
for
the Sons
me.
of Anarchy.
Right, they're like, they're here for me. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're here for you. And
you could get anywhere between 20 to 60 bikes, brothers and sisters, all showing up at one time.
Yeah.
And
how many?
Anywhere between 20 to 60.
I thought that's what you said. That's a lot.
We had 99 one time was our record.
That's
99.
amazing.
But that was when Black Canyon hadn't split off, you know, from Maricopa County chapter yet.
Right, because you're one of the largest, if not the largest, in the country.
There's quite a few of them that are pretty big, but Arizona is we're doing good. We are doing very good.
Yes.
And basically, it's things like this. It was the article that Karina Bland ran on July 15, 2012, where we went from 33 people in my chapter down to 6 people, and moved it up to 150 people, to the point where we had a lot of brothers and sisters on the west side. They were like, why don't we split the chapter?
Right.
And the work that they had to do to get that going, and they're still here.
Yeah.
Because they're here for the right reason.
Right.
And that's one of the things we got to make people understand here. You're not here to be, you know, the bad guy, the you know, the tough guy, because if you have to act that way, you're not.
Exactly.
You're here for these kids who don't have what they need, you know. Once we bring them in, like when we go to do the level 1, we kind of do a horseshoe shape around the child.
Yeah.
The child liaison, the president, vice president, depending on what chapter, will say, didn't I tell you I was bringing in some new people?
Aww. And that's nice and comforting too. Like I can see the horseshoe.
Yeah,
you know,
we don't want to surround
comforting.
the child,
right?
We don't know where their personal space
They
is
still have
and
a
stuff
run
like
space
that.
if they need it. They got a path.
We keep things very simple. We don't go up to the child and go, "Oh, your hair's pretty. Oh, I like your shoes, or I like your shirt." We don't know if those are any kind of triggers.
Right.
It's real simple. Hi, my name is.
Yeah.
And you get the name, you move on. And we get them, then they're introduced to what we call Scodies. They're jean jackets, and we cut off the sleeves.
Aw.
We put patches on it. They get a road name.
Sweet.
We have a little back patch on the back that they get to pick 4 different ones.
Yeah, 4 different
One's
styles.
empowered, one's in I'm in the family.
And then they both say the same thing. One will have flames behind it, and the
There you
other
go.
one does.
That's what it is. That's a difference. So they
That's
get to
wonderful.
choose that when the child liaison and the vice president goes and does the actual intake. You know, meets the child, meets the family, and stuff like that. And then they find out the child's likes and dislikes, and that's how they come up with the road name. And I don't think that I'm going into my 10th year here in Arizona. I've ever seen a child not like their name.
Right.
And they're just super proud of being a part of the organization. Some of them won't even put it on while we're there. They won't even. We give them a shirt. The front of the shirt says, "No child deserves to live in fear."
Beautiful.
The back of the shirt is a guy riding away on a bike, and it got angel wings, and it just says some of his angels have wings, others have motorcycles. So the kids get a red one. They get a backpack, a B.A.C.A backpack. They get a pencil. They get a little B.A.C.A bracelet. We give them tattoos, not real ones.
Right.
They do come off. And the kids love it, but there are some that are afraid to even open the bag. And some parents will go, no, come on, put it on. And we're like, no,
Yeah, don't push them.
this is their day.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. Within seconds of leaving, when we go down and do our debrief, and afterwards, we're getting a text saying, as soon as they walked in the house, they put the shirt on, they put
Right.
the bandana or the do-rag on, they, and they're proud. And some of them, if the school allows it, will wear it to school.
That's amazing.
There's the empowerment.
Yeah,
That's
very,
what we're
very
doing, the
empowering.
empowerment.
So you empowered kids
Yeah.
who've been
We don't want to enable them, we want to empower them.
right.
And, so then they get assigned 2 patch members. And these patch members are going through between 14 to 18 months of training before you're even considered for a patch. We want to make sure you understand what you're getting into.
Right.
This is a commitment. We are volunteers. None of
Yeah.
us get paid for what we do. But we
It's a lot
love
of
to
hours
ride.
in
It is a lot
riding
of
to help
hours.
kids.
But you know what? Putting that smile on that terrified child's face, I tear up every time I think about it.
I'm tearing up listening
I do.
to you.
Because I can't. Most of us know the hell that they're in.
Sure.
Because either we've been through it, or we know somebody that has, or we were affected by it, some
Right.
way. And to be able to, within the 45 minutes we're there at that level 1, that they will come out of the house. Because we've greeted them through a screen. We've walked by and introduced ourselves through a screen at times. And the next
Yeah.
thing you know, they're out. And then we will give them rides on the bike in the neighborhood.
Sure.
But we have security around them. When they come back, they're leaning on, they're waving like they're the king or,
Right.
or queen or
They are
something.
the queen of the
It's
neighborhood.
Great. It is absolutely great, And they get assigned the 2 patch members. Now those 2 patch members will let the chapter know if there's any needs. Is there court coming up? Is there fear in the child?
Why would the kid be going to court?
It depends. Then not all of them go to court because of abuse. Sometimes there's enough evidence that it'll happen, and sometimes there's not enough evidence. But if the child is being subpoenaed to court, believe it or not, probably 80 to 85% of the time, this child is only going to court with 1 or 2 people that believe them, and that could be the caretaker or the advocate or their attorney.
Yeah.
A lot of people years ago, the whole stranger danger, but a good percent of kids that are abused are from people that they know.
Yeah, family
And that's the
relations
sad
and stuff
part.
like that. Isn't that awful?
That's the sad part.
Yeah.
So if they have to go to court, we don't want our little brother and sister going to court by themselves.
Yeah.
We want them to stand strong.
So you go to court with them.
We escort them to court. We'll go to wherever they're living, whether, again, foster home, group home, whatever, whoever the caretaker is. They get in their vehicle. We surround the vehicle. We bring them to court. We park in the parking lot. We literally surround them, especially some of the high-profile cases that we have, because the media wants to get in, or let's say family members of the abuser wants
Oh, wow.
to.
They want to get to the kid
No,
first,
no,
huh?
No, not. And then we get into the courtroom and we do the same thing. We
So you're like an
surround them.
Uber security lift.
Absolutely, we're their own that's
Bouncers,
right. We're
yeah.
their own security, basically, and we're getting kids are 4 times more likely to testify with us in court than without us in court.
Because they feel strong.
They do, and we had one little boy that would have seizures, and he would throw up just the sound of his abuser's name.
Aw.
And his therapist couldn't get him to talk about anything. He was terrified to talk.
Sure.
Well, we came in because Mom found out about it. We came in, And the therapist says, I don't know what you did, but I can't get him to shut up now. He went into court with the group of us. He asked if his 2 primaries can walk up to the podium with him. He walked by his abuser.
Yeah.
He gave his impact statement. Defense badgered him 3 times till the judge said, enough, I'll see you in my chambers. The kid never changed his story, turned around, walked out, not one seizure, and didn't throw up. That's empowerment.
That's beautiful. Were you giving him medical marijuana? Were you helping him with? I'm just kidding, because you're bikers.
Oh God, no. no.
I'm just kidding.
No.
That's a stereotype,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
That's one of those things you have to get. I went on a run once with a friend, and there were no drugs, 200 miles. Now, and I was a little disappointed. Does that hurt you sometimes when you're out here doing like an outreach kind of day where you're talking to the public? Do people get scared of you? Do they think that you're here?
Oh, they do. We've had people walk by our table even today, and they pull their children towards them, and we just smile. It's okay, because we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We've been around 22 years, 13 countries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll figure it out. And doing things like this, doing the newspaper articles or the video and stuff like that. Actually, we named Karina Bland Cronkite, and we named Pat Buchanan, who's the videographer and the photographer. He is Spielberg.
How cute.
Because I always say, stalked us for 3 months.
Yeah.
She originally didn't want to do the article because of the stereotype.
Are you kidding me?
No, because people have a misconception of bikers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't care whether it's, whatever you're in. They are who they are. And I get so tired of people putting them down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Pipes and I did a presentation for the Rotary one time, and Bill Montgomery was there, our Attorney General, and 150 people. And this one guy stood up and he goes, well, why do we have to call you guys? You know what I mean? How do we know you guys are 100% on the up and up? And I'm like, oh, let me address this one. And I said, well, if you can tell me that all our attorneys are, all our policemen are, all our clergymen are, all our teachers are, then I'll lie to you too. And I said, we won't even get into the government.
Yeah.
I'll lie to you too until you say all bikers are. There's 1% of people in any organization, foundation, corporation, I don't care what it is.
Right.
There's always bad people.
True that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
most of those people fly under the radar because they look more quote unquote presentable.
Or club or whatever it is not good.
Right.
And again, our government, okay. Biggest gang in the world, okay?
Hey, there's a microwave over there.
I know.
Is my phone turned off?
The radar all the time, but bikers do a lot for the community.
Yeah.
And that's all clubs, organizations, whatever. They do a lot for the community.
I think a lot of people forget that. I mean, I remember bikers coming to defend military funerals in the Midwest because of the Westboro Baptist Church. People were coming and
Patriot Riders.
Yeah, they were disrespecting the family who were burying their heroes. And
absolutely.
So you've done that. You've there's all kinds of stuff B.A.C.A is doing. I don't know anybody who owns a Harley that isn't authentic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you don't even have to own a Harley. We got an Indian. My husband has an Indian.
Okay.
And Speedy rides.
Speedy rides a sport bike.
Wow.
His wife.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. As long as it's not a Vespa, you're good.
Right.
It's a big tent.
There you go. There you go.
If you can keep up on the highway, then you can roll.
Yes. But I have some good, solid brothers and sisters that are in this organization, and I just love, and we call each other brothers and sisters because we spend a lot of time on the road. We spend a lot of time, helping each other out in our level ones.
Yeah.
And then we have our level twos.
What are those?
The level twos is if there is a threat, meaning either the abuser is out of jail or the family members or friends want to come to where the child's living. They find out where the child is living and try to badger them to get them to shut down. Mm-hmm. We'll be right there camping out on their lawn. Whether it's 1 day, 7 days, 30 days around the clock. Each one of my brothers and sisters take shifts.
Yeah.
And they give up their personal time. They give up their vacation time. They give up their sick time.
Family time.
It's B.A.C.A allergy time. To come in, and stand in front of that house for that child. We've had members shot at. We've had members hit by cars. We've had members pepper sprayed while they're riding on their bikes because, there's a lot of people that love us, but there's a lot of people that don't.
Car bombs? Are you kidding? Like
yes,
the
Molotov
shots?
cocktail. Well, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. Molotov cocktails.
Someone threw a damn Molotov cocktail
at a child's house to blow up the family's vehicle, and the child was sleeping in the room above the garage. You know what I mean? And our motto is bring it on.
Yeah.
Because all we have to do is make a phone call to all the presidents in the surrounding states. They'd be here in a heartbeat.
Right.
Without question.
Right.
Not like, well, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's rain. No.
Yeah.
What we've ridden through. I had one night, my husband said, I gotta go. We got an emergency down in Tucson and bringing in a kid because they had court the next day and they just found out about us. So him and 3 other brothers rode down in a sandstorm. Then they hit rain
and
like crazy.
That's an hour and a half from here, under good conditions.
Yeah. And then it snowed. Then there was hail.
Gosh.
Then they went down a dirt road. Of course, my husband called it a wash because some of the bikes slid and stuff. They got to the kid's house on time. We went to court with them the next day.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? And it just, enough is enough. Enough is enough. You know, we're tired of what's happening to the kids. We're tired of the system failing. My daughter's best friend's baby was beaten to death.
Oh,
and
I'm so sorry.
Easton, his mouth was split. His eye was gashed open. Hair pulled out of his skull.
Who does that?
Punched him in the stomach so hard, split his colon, caused internal bleeding. Then tried to put him in a tub to make it look like a drowning. Easton was 8 months old. 8 months old.
Yeah.
And this guy got 18 months in jail and 3 years supervised probation. Tell me our system isn't
well, women and children aren't that important.
No,
that's just what it is.
And that's sad. That's sad. You know, and there's a lot of different, dynamics within that system between the courts and things like that people need to wake up and stop. Our kids need a voice.
Well, it seems like at this point everybody's fighting over politics and team party affiliation, and the kids are falling through the cracks.
They're sitting in the back going, yo.
Yeah, there's no adulting going on. It doesn't seem
right. And then people wonder why these kids turn into thugs and punks. Man, you didn't care about me when I needed you.
Right.
Why should I care about you? Because I have to survive.
Exactly.
And I had 2 kids that I worked long-term residential back home in Connecticut. And they stay with us for a year. We teach them all the things they need to know, activities, the daily living, and some good habits and things like that. And they were crying the day that they had to go back. And I'm like, why are you crying? I mean, I'm crying too because you get attached to them, And he said, because you're sending us back to the same place and nothing's changed. And that statement hit me so hard because they're so right. Because the parents are still drinking, they're still drunk, and they're still fighting, so they have to steal for their food, they have to steal for their clothes, they have to, half the time they can't get to school.
Yeah, they have to manipulate, they learn to lie because they have to cover for their parents and they don't want their friends to know.
And that's when that attorney stood up and said, what's that got to do with me? And I'm like, because when that thug comes and robs your house or steals from you, that's a kid you said you didn't want to care about because it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
They're our future. And what we do now is going to help them get there healthy.
Right.
And if we keep turning our cheek, they're going to keep getting punched in theirs.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
And what's the point of it?
Absolutely.
What's the point? Because then you're just going to have another generation of misery built on top of that.
Right. And that's what we're hoping on. And again, we're not big brothers, big sisters, you know, because there's an organization that does that, and they are phenomenal. You know, what they do. There's so many other organizations out there. Child Help is another one. We've been working with them. You know, and
is that a national? I don't mean to interrupt you, but for listeners,
I don't know if they're national, but please check them out in the history of the 2 women that started this. Absolutely phenomenal story.
Okay.
Absolutely a courageous story on how they got started. And they found out about us, and we've been working with them for about 5-6 years now. And they get kids that come in. They do what we don't do. You know, they take care of that end of it.
What do they do?
Oh, God, they have one place. When a child gets abused or hurt, they're in the hospital. Then they're telling the doctors what's going on. Then a social worker come in, they got to tell their story again. Then police officer will come in, they got to tell their story again. After a while, a child shuts down.
Yeah.
At Child Help, they tell their story once. They have a forensic police officer there. They have a psychiatrist there. It is all one time.
One shot.
One time.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? And then from there, Child Help calls us, you know, so now there's a need to try to empower this child.
That's beautiful. And then I'm sure the child feels extremely protected because there's
we've been around long
team
enough
on
that
it, and
some
then
of
you
them,
show up and
And we don't ever ask their story.
Yeah.
We don't need to know.
Right.
Our child liaison, our vice president, is the only ones that really know their stories.
That's perfect.
We will hear things in court, you know, but You know, it's you have to have a certain personality to be able to deal with that. It's tough sometimes because you want to just get up and just like hug that child and you know, but we can't. We need to empower them to stand tall, lift your head up. You have nothing to be ashamed
Yeah, you
of.
can't nurture them or coddle them too much.
Right,
Like even
right.
though I'm sure you want to hug them, stuffing out of
But I
them.
tell you, the other thing we give them at Level, what is the blanket?
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we
Yeah.
love this blanket. The little ones get little teddy bears with a little B.A.C.A shirt on.
Sweet.
But we have a blanket, and before we give it to them, we pass it around to all the members and supporters that are cleared that are there, and each of us hug it and fill it up with love. And we tell them, no matter what you do to this blanket, you could tear it up, you could wash it, no matter what. Our love is that strong, and it'll never be washed out. And these kids, and so you can put it, you know, on your bed. You can make a tent out of it. You can put it in the window and let the sun shine through, like, and make it look like the bat signal or something. But all you have to, we are a phone call away, 24/7, 365.
Nitro, if you make me cry in this mall,
I mean-
the way I look and you two in your cuts, someone's gonna come over here and be
We
like,
got your back, sister. We got your back.
"That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's beautiful."
We take it very serious.
It just seems like simple things like that make such a difference, but a lot of people who work, quote unquote, with children don't seem to understand how important just simple things like that are.
It is.
You're
and
like groundwork, you
Right,
know,
right.
actual footwork.
Right. Our judges,
Not clinical.
There's a lot of judges. We've even had them, you know, right after a case is done, he'd go in the back, take off his robe, come out and shake our hand.
Aw.
And, you know, we're not here to do anybody's job.
Yeah.
You know, we know what some of the things that they do, what our police officers do, what our case managers do, you know.
Right.
We know there's a lot of flaws, but there's a lot of wonderful people out there trying to do something. But we're the only organization in the world that does what we do.
Exactly.
You know, we'll sit in court sometimes 6 hours. 6 hours because defense wants to go through all the other inmates first before
Yeah.
they get to that guy that has abused this child. That person, guy or girl, whoever it is,
Yeah.
has more rights than that child, and that child is sitting here, you know, 3 to 6 hours.
All day?
To me,
Just a child waiting to
continuing with
testify?
us, waiting
How
to
is that
testify,
possible?
'cause defense doesn't want the other inmates to know what that
person's
did.
in.
And no defense ran courts.
Oh, you would. I would reckon. I would hope that maybe there's some child advocacy groups out there that could get that sort of
I'll tell you,
moved
child
up the docket.
advocates, the prosecutors, the judges. I can't tell you some of the ones that we have encountered are they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
Their heart, their soul, they're in the right place.
Sure.
And it's not always the people that are working it. It's the people that create certain things, you know, like cutbacks. And now, oh, well, you had 10 cases. Now you got 100 cases, you know, that you have to deal with.
Yeah, who can
It
do
gets
that?
overwhelming.
Yeah.
But we're here to fill a gap. We're here to do something you can't do. You're not available 24/7.
Well, I would
We
think
are.
2 therapists can't give a blanket to a child infused with a bunch of love from
Right.
99 bikers who just,
Right.
you know, got out their
Right.
hearts
Yeah.
and their non-Harleys.
It's-
But, you know, like you feel a void.
We do.
Such a void.
And we are a free service.
Right.
All of us are volunteers. None of
So
us.
if
all
you're
the way
hearing
up.
that, you could, you know, send a donation to B.A.C.A.
Absolutely. And please do me a favor if you want to send a donation. Go to www.baccaworld.org, click on chapters, click on the country you're in, find the state, you know, that you're from, and support those chapters in those
Yeah,
areas.
do it local.
Because not all chapters have the resources that we do, has the availability of certain things that we do. And they're struggling, and they're trying so hard, and a lot of them take it out of their own pockets.
This is Nitro at the mall trying to generate revenue for other B.A.C.A chapters.
Absolutely.
That's
One
so
B.A.C.A.
generous of you.
We're one
Yeah,
B.A.C.A.
but that's extremely,
Yep.
if that is your real name.
Okay.
Whatever.
I have a few. Cha-ching, Maricopa Mama.
Let's check the ink.
The other ones we won't say. You know, but yeah.
It's a long time ago.
That's right. You know, but now you have to be passionate. You have to understand what we do. My husband didn't want to get involved. He
Yeah.
was just going to be, because he knew how much it meant to me, because I've been in and out of things what these kids are going through. So, but he had to get fingerprinted, and he was my access, because you have to have a motorcycle or access to a motorcycle. He was my access. He is now our state president. He's chapter development officer. He's our vice president in our chapter. He's just, it changes you.
Yeah, it's
It
a
does
ministry.
something.
It would seem like
It
kind
does,
of
I can't, I mean,
And that
as
happens
a male.
lot. My wife as
yeah.
well. She didn't want anything to do with it at first.
Yeah.
She thought it was just a bunch of bikers out drinking, having a good time, doing
Right.
whatever.
You just don't want to be home with us.
Right, that kind of thing. You know, we have our own kids, and let's focus on them.
Yeah.
Right up until she started meeting our brothers and sisters for the first time, and doing the research and watching the videos that Nitro brought up earlier, and then she was hooked.
Yeah.
And now she invests.
And now she drives me crazy, and I love it. I love it.
Do you get
Passion.
text every 20 minutes? And we can do this, and we can do this.
That's it.
Oh, and Nitro.
She does, and I love that passion, and that's something that I tell people, that once you get that patch on your back, don't lose that passion, because that's when the real work starts. You know what I mean? There's a lot of organizations out there that help. There's a lot of people that come into ours, and it doesn't fit them, and that's okay. It's okay. There's some people that don't realize the impact that it has on them, or hearing stories and they don't handle it, but that's okay. That doesn't make them a bad person. There's other organizations that they can help.
Sure, it's just not the right fit.
You know what I mean? Right. You know, and there's some come in to try to change us. It's not going to happen. There's nothing broken the way we do it.
Right.
Either do it our way or bye-bye.
Right.
You know, go your own way. And that happens too, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
How many people do you have right now currently? Because I'm curious now that you say this.
We don't divulge that.
Oh.
Enough to do the mission.
There you go. Like he said, enough to do the mission. And,
That's awesome.
People say, well, how many kids do you have? Not enough.
Aw.
Not enough. Because we haven't even touched basis on what is just in this. I think it's either Arizona or
The
just
number?
Maricopa. You had the statistics on that.
The latest number that came out was 51,963 kids in the state of Arizona alone that stepped forward and said that they were being abused.
Those are documented.
That's a lot of kids.
30% of that was in Maricopa County, and the other number that's tied with that is only 1 in 3 kids that are being abused are only stepping forward. So that means there's roughly another 100,000 plus kids just in our state alone.
That's sad.
You have 49 other
terrifying.
states out there.
It is.
just
That's
for our
terrifying.
country.
You know, so when we do awareness, we do an awareness to let people know that we're here for the children. We're also do awareness that if anybody's interested and they want to come to one of our meetings, they can go to, you know, either the BACAworld.org. Again, pick whatever state you're in, whatever chapter's near you.
Sure.
It'll give the address and the time and dates when we have them, or they can call any one of them's helpline. And then ours is one number, and it says the Pima chapter that's down in Tucson. We have Black Canyon, it's on the west side. We have Maricopa, that's east side, and we just patched in Sawtooth Ridge, which is in Casa Grande.
Fantastic.
You know, and it takes about 2 years to become full chapter.
Yeah.
You know, we need to know you're serious. So
And can anybody call and join? Do you have
anybody can call, and if they want to come, anybody can come to the
except
meetings.
pedophiles and abusers, because you're
They
going to be
can try.
fingerprinted.
They can
You're not
try.
going to get past.
Right. You are not going to be around a B.A.C.A child until you have cleared your fingerprinting.
Yeah.
You have to clear. And you're going to go through, the first year is constant training. You will go through some training. And people say, well, what kind of training do you need? There's a lot.
You got to learn how to put love in a blanket.
Not only that, but not to, you know, certain areas. You know, we have our local psych. We call her psych. She's
Sure.
a therapist, and she helps to teach us certain things. You know, what to look for, certain, you know, spaces with kids, what not to say, how to approach a kid. If a kid is a certain way, what do we do? You know, so she helps us on that part of it, because we're not the professional in that area.
Right.
You know, so we look at all those different places to help us to do that job. And we've, again, 22 years, we've even had kids that after 18, a couple of years later, now they're supporters and members.
Oh,
They want to pay it forward.
that's
And
fantastic.
again, we're with these kids until they're 18, even if there's not a court date.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
So y'all just show up?
Absolutely. Well, if the kid, what we do is, you know, when that fear starts to dissipate and they start feeling good and they start going to college and school and they start feeling better about themselves, they can call us anytime. Those are the inactive, but they're still part of our organization, because every year the funds we raise not only pays for therapy for the kids, but we also put on a huge summer party for them.
Yeah.
And we put on a huge winter party for them. It's their money.
That's great.
It's their money, and they're all invited to come.
That's
and it's their choice
and they
on whether
come.
They want to
do
or
they
not.
come? A lot of
Majority
times.
them do.
I bet they do.
Because they
Tell
want to
them
see.
once a B.A.C.A kid, always a B.A.C.A kid.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But at 18, now you're an adult. Now you need to. We want you to live life. This happened.
Spread your wings.
Don't let what happened to you define you.
Right.
You know what I mean? We want you to move on, and they do. And the transition, I can't even tell you. Just it's kind of like your birds leaving the nest,
Sure.
you know, kind of thing. But,
Sure.
But even if a child is with us, let's say they want to go to California for vacation. Oh, do you want some B.A.C.A brothers and sisters to visit you out there? And they're like, what?
What?
Absolutely.
Is it
All you do
possible?
is make a phone call wherever you're going. We got 16 chapters out there.
That's great.
You know what I mean? So no matter where you go, if we have a chapter, you know, all we have to do is make a phone call.
That's
and
got
they'll come visit you.
That's got to be especially fantastic. I keep using the word fantastic because I'm kind of blown away by you because you're fantastic. But it's got to feel fantastic to know that no matter where you go, especially if you are a foster child or you did have this horrible abuse situation where maybe you lost your parent because they chose the step parent instead of you. That happens a lot. Now you know at least you have someone.
Yep. There's
It's empowering.
Yeah,
That's the word.
I didn't want to use that word because I felt like Nitro's been using it too much. I was trying to switch things up.
Oh, no,
My
that's
ADD is
what we
kicking
do.
in. We're at the mall and it's getting busier and
That's
busier
the
and
whole
there's shower.
foundation of what we do is to empower them.
Yeah.
You can use it nonstop every day.
Empower,
Yeah.
break the chains of
That's-
abuse.
yeah.
Yeah, that's you.
And, you know, we don't deal. A lot of people say if you're standing guard in front of a house, what if the family member comes up and says something? They can say whatever they want.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to get to the house. You
Yeah.
know, because they'll have to go through us. In my chapter, we've not had that issues. We've had people yell, say stuff, drive by, things like that. You know what I mean? But you know, by then the family has already let the local police know because.
There could be an issue. You might get a call. Yeah.
Absolutely. It is not our job,
Right.
you know, to do that. If they try to barrel through us, of course, we are going to take care of ourselves.
Stand
for
your
one.
ground.
We'll try to push it down the street because we don't want the violence in front of the house. We did a level one time. Some guy came out, I abuse my kids, you guys, blah, blah, blah. Security takes care of it. We stay focused on the kids.
Sure.
That's why we have security. You know, and you're always going to get that. I don't care where you go, you're always going to get that. But, you know, our focus has to be our children. Children, people say kids have rights. No, they don't.
No, people
they
think
don't.
they do because that's
You
what
know?
we've all been told.
You know, kids want to say, you know, what's happening to them, and, you know, no, because kids can twist things. That's why you have therapists that can help to understand what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, listen to them. They're probably the most honest human beings in the world.
Sure.
It's our children. Sometimes
Yeah.
painfully honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've all
But
had
they
an
are.
embarrassing moment.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Out of the mouths of babes,
Sure,
they
sure.
say. But listen to your kids. You know, I mean, even if it shows to be unfounded, God forbid if it was something real and you just turned away from this child. And unfortunately, 80-85% of family does.
85?
They stay on the side of the person that's abusing
85%?
them. What is the old adage back in the day? They didn't mean to do it. They'll never do it again. You know, then
he
it
only does it
becomes-
when he drinks.
Right. You know,
Yeah.
and then they'll like, you
It
know,
was
now
my
look
fault.
what you're doing.
I
to
left the cookies in too
family.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just silly stuff, and then you start to internalize. You live the rest of your life wondering, what did I do wrong, and still trying to figure that out.
Well, child abuse is over because Oprah did a show on that. I think there's a lot of people.
You are a good comedian. I love that. This is-
You should hear me when I can work dirty.
I tell you what, I've written a lot of talk shows, and none of them have asked us to be on.
Why?
Don't know.
I couldn't get on Oprah either.
Nobody wants to face what's happening.
I
They
think
don't.
that's
They don't
part
want
of
to
it.
That's
address
exactly
it.
what it
Admit
is.
I think that's a lot of it. People don't want to face it. You don't want to think it's your next door neighbor. You don't want to think it's happening in your house. You don't want to remember it happened to you. You want to
Right.
think you're living in this non-abusive relationship because a lot of us don't want to see what's in front of us.
Right.
But it does blow me away that there used to be shows where Oprah would take a week and talk about something like this, or
Let's bring the ones in suits, not the ones in leathers. You know what I mean? And talk about it. It's and that's kind of there's your stereotype.
well, we have kind of an elitist media
Yes,
also, so
yes.
they perpetuate that. Well, why isn't your hair perfect? And that person can't come on the show because they have wrinkles. And
Yes.
crap
Sit
like
on
that.
that bike for a few hours and let's see what you look like. You got dirt from the road. You got, I mean, you know, but it is so worth everything we do. You know, like I said, we don't get paid a paycheck.
Right.
There is nothing that can compare to what we get paid in our heart for what it does to the kids. It's not about us. It is about what those kids, how we can empower them to not feel afraid anymore, to
Right.
stand tall. I mean, you know, Pipe says it all the time. You know, kids are 4 times more likely to testify with us in court. You know,
That's a powerful
and you know,
statistic.
an abuser they did some work, some statistics on that an abuser can hurt up to 263 kids. That's in the video, but they did actual statistics.
One person? One abuser?
One person can hurt up to 263 kids in their lifetime. Now, the video that we have online gives a guesstimate, but when they did the actual research on that one abuser can hurt up to 263 kids in their lifetime. Having a kid testify and putting this person away, how many kids do you think they've saved?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what's important, is our little brothers and sisters being able to stand up and hold their head high, you know, and tell their story and not be ashamed. Because you didn't do anything wrong. You were wronged. Whoever it was, you were wronged.
Right.
You know, let's make it right and move on. And it won't be in our lifetime, I know that, but maybe someday that chain's going to be broken where they're not going to repeat that behavior. You know, and I know that it was difficult for me.
Yeah.
It was difficult for me with my kids. I kept thinking I'm supposed to do this because this is what was done to me.
Yeah.
And I fought it, and I fought it. And I mean, it was literally difficult. And I go to your room. Just go to your room. I need to calm down. I need to, because I didn't want to hurt my kids.
Yeah.
And my son told me about 25 years ago, he said, you know, Mom, you broke the chains of child abuse. How ironic I'm with this group.
How beautiful.
You know, and I found them doing a run for Semper Fi for another group that I was riding with. And all day I saw this guy. I saw the front part, just thought, you know, another rider, great. As he was walking out, I'm talking to somebody, and something said, turn your head. And I turned my head, and I did a double take, and I went, wait a minute, and I ran to him. I said, what is this? He gave me a trifold. I've been going ever since. It was the organization, the mission is probably one of the most phenomenal ones I have ever encountered, as far as we're free.
Yeah.
We don't want anything.
You're empowered.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You truly are.
Absolutely. And does certain cases bring back memories? Absolutely. There's times that I have to step back, but I'll get to a brother and sister who recognize that, hey, you okay? I'm okay. Compose myself, step back up again.
Right.
You know, or talk to a brother and sister about it. You know what I mean? Because it will bring things up if you've been through it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Something will trigger you. You know what I mean? But you know what? That was then. This is now. That doesn't define who I am.
So many people can't get there, though. You're remarkably strong.
It's true. I don't know how I did it.
Because you wanted to be that breaker of that bad chain.
I did. I knew I didn't like it, and I didn't want to impose that on my own kids. I knew I needed help, you know, and I was blessed with my kids' fathers. They were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of dads don't do that. You know, a lot of dads, oh, you're this, well, I'm taking the kids and go through the whole court thing and traumatize the kid. Not mine. They took the kid and they said, don't worry about it. And I said, if you ever get mad at me, don't use my kids.
Yeah.
That's not happening today.
No.
Kids are used. They're a pawn in everything, in the system, in relationships. People need to stop.
Yeah.
That's not fair. They're a blessing. You know what I mean? Stop treating them like they're some kind of game piece.
Yeah. We have a kind of a cavalier attitude about them, our society.
Yeah.
But I hear you loud and clear. They're actually probably the coolest people amongst us.
I think they have the most unconditional
I mean, they're annoying.
love.
They're annoying.
Absolutely, but so can't we?
We're more annoying.
You don't think there's times that we are to them?
We're more annoying, but our TV viewing is better. Our shows are better.
Absolutely.
Our music is better.
Absolutely. But yeah, they're a blessing, and we
True
just
blessings.
need to stop pushing them aside.
Yeah.
You know, they're an important piece to society and to our future. You know?
And to yourself too, because it's a self-hate when you're acting
I have a
against your
grandson that
kid.
has special needs, and I hate saying that because I'll tell you what, he's exactly who he's supposed to be, and I love him. I wouldn't want him to change. He doesn't talk, you know. My Kingston, he doesn't talk, but we communicate. And his brother Seamus is. I have 6 grandkids. I have a great-granddaughter, and I have 3 kids, and I'll tell you what, I can't see it any other way.
Yeah.
And you've got two kids?
We have 3 boys.
3 boys.
Oh, wow.
3 boys.
An extra one.
Boys, yeah.
An extra one. Picked one up on the way home.
That's it. But we have a lot of fun together too. We do a 100-mile run. Every chapter does it internationally on the same weekend, and that's every chapter does it different. What we do is, because we do so much separate, that it was decided a few years back. I was like, you know, I miss brothers and sisters. I miss doing this, and we always going to runs or doing a run and things like that. Why can't we go camping? We decided that we're going to go camping, have some camaraderie Friday night, get there on Friday. Saturday we get up, we find a town that has never heard about us. Like, we'll go up north. We're going to be Lake Havasu, St. John, up north, try to get chapters up there, get that awareness up there. Once we're done, we go back to the campground. Then we're ourselves. Then we have a good time. Then it's our time. But no kids are allowed. Not even
Right. It's the big brothers and the big sisters.
And
not to be confused with the other organizations.
It's a blast.
I'm sure.
It is a blast. And so that's the way we do it. Each one do it. And then we do an event every single year. This year we're doing, because now that we have Black Canyon, we're doing an East meets West.
Nice.
So Black Canyon's going to start the run on the west side. We're starting the run on the east side, and then we're meeting at Steel Horse.
Oh, that'd be great.
Steel Horse Saloon. So if
That'd be
anybody's out there,
fantastic.
October 7th, a Saturday. Come and join us. You
7th.
don't have to ride. You don't have to go on the run. Just show up and have a good time. You can get everything you there and come and meet us.
Come have a beer, a burger,
Absolutely.
soda.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Steel Horse has been very, very good to B.A.C.A for many years. I've known Joanna and Eric for a long time.
So support
they're
Steel
just-
Horse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
great. That's great. And come out and,
so-
see if maybe this is something you want to get involved in.
Yes.
And maybe just,
And God forbid if you have a child, or if you know a child that needs us, please come out.
Yeah.
Come out and check us out. But again, get on the www.baccaworld.org, click on the chapters, look at all the countries we're in, support. If you're from that state, please support the chapter that's local to you. We all need help. A lot of people say, well, what can I do to help? I don't ride a bike. We need jackets. We do the jean jackets, the Levi jean jackets.
Jean jackets,
the
blankets.
Blue, the light blue, and no, we get our own blankets. We do. But the light blue jean or the dark blue jean, not the red, black, gray, white, whatever. Because we want the
denim.
kids to be in
Right.
unison. So
Blue denim.
boys to men, because us women change our stuff in a week. Boys hang on to it till it falls off.
I get some duct tape.
I'm serious. They have a member in their chapter called duct tape.
there's always one.
But yeah, my brothers and sisters, I can name off a bunch. I got, like I said, Brooklyn and Roosters up there, my Tink and Squirrel, Haas, Speedy. We've got so many people that are just, they stuck it out. So many times we've my God, I really think I might need to back off a little bit, and then they stay in.
Back in.
No matter what they go through, losses in their family, surgeries.
Usually around the time you
bike
say to yourself, I'm
accidents.
going to back off, you wind up taking on another position.
Oh, sure. That's
or
what always
another
happens.
job or another task.
Yes, you don't volunteer, you get voluntold.
Yeah.
Were you really leaving? But we have this gift for you.
Oh, you can't, not yet. Hang on
Yeah.
a second. You know what I mean? But it does, and it's okay. It's okay to feel that way, because it gets around the 2-year mark is when people start to whoa, maybe I need to rethink this. That's okay.
Yeah.
Because your work, your family, and your health comes first. And if you can work that out, and still be with us, great.
Right.
If you want to just stay as a supporter, that's fine, because I call them our warriors. We need them too. You know what I mean? To help the patch out.
Well, I don't know. I watch Sons of Anarchy, and you kill them, don't you?
I tell you what, when they got rid of Opie, that was it for me. I was like, what? My husband watched it for the first time, and it happened to be that time when they were getting, and I jumped out of the couch, and he's like, what? And I'm like, they're not doing this. He's like, what? Yes, it's we're not a club, we're not a gang. We are, again, a 501c3 non-profit organization, and people, they're stereotyping. You know what? That's okay, because that's what works.
Yeah.
That's what works.
Your toughness.
And when we need to be,
That tough stereotype.
Anybody can be that way. You see a child being abused, I hope to God you will step up. You don't need to be a part of our organization to do that.
A lot of people don't.
Right.
But that's why you're here.
So I don't want to get involved, and it's sad. It's sad. It's, people just need to stop. They need to be that. What is it? Kravitz, the one that was across the street from Bewitched or something.
Yeah.
I mean, be that person.
Yeah, be that nosy Nelly.
I ran into the girl that was the neighbor to Easton. She said I did a symposium up in Prescott, and I was telling the story, and she was crying. And she came up and I'm like, are you okay? I didn't mean to affect you that way, you know? And she told me, she goes, I know Heather and I know Easton and I live next door. And I heard him crying and I did nothing. I thought he had colic.
Oh my gosh,
She's
the
been living
guilt
with
of that.
And I'm like, honey, that's not your fault.
Yeah.
Don't think that way. Don't think that. She goes, when the ambulance came is when I realized what happened. I said, please don't walk around with this guilt. Don't walk around, because that you did nothing wrong. But the poor thing was living with it all those years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thinking that she shoulda, you know? But there are incidents
how would
that
you know?
need. Right.
Yeah, and then if you go over there, do you know that
but
he's
you know what?
abusive
That's
in
what
the
our
history?
local
So
officials are in place for.
Yeah.
You know, if you suspect something, call.
Give a call. It's not like
Seriously.
you're calling a recorded line and it won't be
you're
used
not.
against
No,
you.
you're not.
You just-
Better safe than sorry.
Everybody should watch out for each other.
Children have been kidnapped and in the house right next to you for 10 years and nobody knows about it because people say, nope, not my problem. Nope, not my problem.
It's all our problem.
You know, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's a society's.
Well,
it's not a family issue.
I don't know. I think bikers are very, very spiritual people because
Absolutely.
the whole run I kept screaming in my head, oh God, just keep me on this bike. 'Cause I almost got T-boned at one point. I'm like,
nothing like being in the wind. It doesn't matter if it's an oven wind or it's something else. You know,
Surfers and
like
bikers,
being in it.
totally
Yeah.
tapped into
Yeah.
Black Baby Jesus at all
Yeah.
times.
My three causes, I have vets, pets, and kids. You know what I mean? Pets are another one, unconditional love, and our
Yeah.
vets are the ones that make it happen. Our servicemen and women make it happen for us to do what we do right now. It's because of them that we're able to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know,
thank you,
any of
veterans.
those- yeah.
Yeah.
Any of those, you know, that are out there, please thank them. You know, because they do make it possible for us to go around and run our mouths when we should shut it. You know what I mean? Or, you know, stand up for a child that needs it.
Exactly.
You know, so those are my three main causes.
Well, those are three great causes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
You
coming
know.
and sitting down and talking to me.
Anytime.
You
Like
know?
I said, I'll talk to anybody wants a presentation. Please get in touch with one of the chapters that's local to you, and they will come and do a presentation. We try to let the public know who we are, who we're not, what we do, and what we don't do.
Yeah.
It's really important, and answer any questions they have. Don't be afraid to ask. There is no stupid questions other than the one you don't ask.
What's your real name? I'm just
Yeah, I know,
teasing you.
really.
I don't even want to know. I'm just being silly.
It's Pam, by the way. Half the time I'm called Nitro all the time, that I forget what my real name is. But, you know, but yes, it's.
I was just teasing. You didn't have to divulge that.
I don't care what people know
Well,
my name.
that's very
you know,
sweet.
I don't.
All right.
You know, I'm proud of what I do, and I'm proud of my brothers and sisters that I'm with in this, and again, there could be somebody in our organization I might not like them, they might not like me, but I got your back.
Yeah.
I got your back when it comes to a kid.
Well, it's just like family.
You
You
know,
know, you don't like your
absolutely. I
cousin.
don't care
Sometimes
what
you want to
job you
punch
work
that
at.
cousin in the face,
Absolutely.
but you're still not going to punch your cousin.
That's right.
We're all
Any
brothers
job
and sisters.
you work at,
so.
it's the same way. And somebody said, you know, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Why are we any different? Why are we any different? You know, so
Because you'd
there's,
actually probably punch your cousin.
Yeah,
Many of us would.
I don't know,
before
there's a few. No.
That's a whole other. That's a whole
Yeah, let's
other
take the
interview.
cut off, go
yeah.
out back, finish this, come back in, do our work. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, there's. I love that we are here to be able to do this. I wish we didn't have to, but I'm very proud of the B.A.C.A brothers sisters internationally for what they do. You know, and standing up and wanting to do this and keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, but get in touch with your local chapters and try to help them out.
Yeah.
Jacket drives, you know, fundraisers you can do, things like that. You know what I mean, to help them out.
B.A.C.A.com.
BACAworld.org.
.org. BACAworld.org.
Yeah.
So check them out.
Please go online and check it out.
Thank you very much, Nitro.
Thank you, Lisa, for having
AKA
us.
Pam.
Yeah.
And thank you, Diver.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. It was really nice meeting. I hope to see you perform sometime.
I would love that. I'm
Yes.
going to be in Tucson in a few months, so you'll come be my guest if it's not too far.
We'll let the Tucson chapter know, too.
Excellent.
You
We'll
got
do
my
that.
Let us
email
know.
now, so let us know. We'll take a ride down.
Excellent.
Absolutely. We'll support you, too.
Oh.
But I'm not sitting up front.
She's a very
I
wise
know
woman.
better. I know better.
You don't get to be this smart by being stupid.
No. We'll sit other ones up front like Haas.
That's what she thinks. You know what
I like
we'll do?
that.
We'll switch the stage once she's seated.
There you
Right.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
You'll
Good
find
time.
me.
Walk around the crowd.
Thank you very much for doing all your good work. And I guess you should go back and tell more people at the mall what you're doing today.
Hey, this is Lisa Landry. I'd like to support B.A.C.A myself, so this week, 7 days after this podcast first airs, I'm going to donate a percentage of proceeds from my t-shirt sales on lisalandry.com directly to B.A.C.A International Inc. Let's call it biker tithing. Just go to lisalandry.com. These people are doing some great work. Let's help them out.